All right, we are back. It is Thursday night, August 27, 2020, and you know what that means? That means it is time once again for Around Midnight Somewhere. I am Joe Carbonetta joining you this evening, and I've actually got a full complement going this evening. I have with me tonight, you'll never believe this, I've got Chevelle Divine, who's just now taking a chair. CJ D, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. All right.
Yeah, I noticed your
why are you walking in?
Is changing resolution over and over again, and apparently he's got people
walking in here.
Yeah, walking into his shot. That's hilarious. And I've also got Todd Fluker. Todd,
Yes.
how are you doing tonight?
Boundaries are real, and you just crossed one.
I don't.
So,
yeah, that's why you lock the door when you're doing this.
All right, you got to go.
I don't. There's two times
we can
when you have to lock the door.
Don't worry about it. That's
This
a live
is one
show.
of them.
Don't worry about it. We can just stop this and go start over again. You know, I mean,
No, we're good.
are you sure? He's still arguing with him
Thank
too.
you.
He is still arguing with him.
Nah. Hey, look, my family takes precedent. Sorry, fam. That's the way it's gonna be.
Wow. All right. I'm with Todd. There's 2 times that you got to lock the door, and this would be one of those times. And I think it goes without saying what the other time would be. I hope. I don't think we got to explain that one to you. Oh, maybe we do?
I think I need you to explain that one to me.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Never mind.
When you're eating secret candy bars from your kids.
All right. Well, anyway, so we are live if you are watching on Thursday, August 27, 2020, and you will be able to call in. What are you doing that you're not even... God, why do we let him on this show? Look, now he re-res there too. All right, so again, if you are watching on Thursday, August 27, 2020, this is a live broadcast, and you can call in, and guess what? I think we even have a telephone number. Here's that telephone number. Area code 951-356-6882. That is 951-356-6882. You too can join the conversation. You can also email us just about any time. And we do get those from time to time. I'll talk about that in just a second. But here is that email address, mixified@gmail.com. That's mixified@gmail.com. Don't forget that if you're watching us on YouTube right now, live, you can watch us on YouTube anytime. And I think that Chevelle's kid just crashed the show again. Not only can you watch us anytime on YouTube, but you can check us out on the Roku and the Amazon Fire Stick. And we just recently had a little foray into Mixcloud. Chevelle, you wanna tell everybody about Mixcloud a bit or something, because this was really your sort of brainchild?
It's just another platform where we can eventually go live from, and where we can archive our programming. It's archive. We have 1 episode up so far, but we're gonna be putting up a lot more, right? Right, guys?
Woo! We're gonna nail it.
We'll see.
Oh,
we'll see.
yeah.
You know, if there's any kind of positive outcry from the 1 or 2 that we've got up there right now, then maybe we'll add on some more. But again, if you want,
we'll just keep doing it. Why not?
If you want to email us anytime, you can do that at mixified@gmail.com. That's mixified@gmail.com. So check this out, guys. Now, we don't very often get any messages, any letters, anything like that. But we do have a couple. We've talked about trying to get people to write into us before, and I think it's been like a year since we mentioned that, and we actually got a few emails recently. So I thought I would take a few moments to do viewer mail. I guess it's viewer comments. I don't know what that is. All right, so we're gonna do that right now. Remember that
mail roundup.
You can write into us anytime at mixified@gmail.com. This first one comes from someone named Henry. Henry writes, "Been a long-time viewer of your show, though I don't know why. Just wondering why your intro is so long." Well, Henry, it goes like this. For the most part, everything that's going on in the show right now is done by me. So, whenever you see these little graphics fly in and out, or you see a camera angle change like this one does, that's all me, in addition to hosting the show and then having to deal with Chevelle's kids crashing his shot and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm doing it all. And God's honest truth is that extra long intro gives me a couple seconds to collect all of my bearings before we go into the open. So that's pretty much it. It's called CYA. And if you don't know what that is...
So why the long answers to the question? Good grief. The answer was almost as long as the intro.
Well, hey, that's the way it goes. All right, the next one comes from...
Well, when somebody on the show is shoving candy in their face, I guess, Joe's got a lot of time to gab.
I know, I got to cover
that. I forget.
So our next one comes from Angelica. Hello, Angelica, if you're watching this evening. She says, I would totally... Oh, I can see, by the way, this is apparently a reference to something that I made... This is referring to a reference that I made a couple of weeks ago. We are like the morning radio show, but we're on at night, all right? And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and apparently she responded to this by saying, I would totally listen to your show if you were on in the morning. If my radio was broken and I couldn't change the station or even turn it off. Ouch. Ouch. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, Angelica.
Dang.
Really appreciate that. Wait.
Like, subscribe, and follow, and ring that bell.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, you can also reach out to us on Twitter anytime. I'm at Joe Carbonetta. Todd is, of course, at Todd Fluker. And Chevelle is at My Kids Keep Crashing My Show and I'm Stuffing Candy in My Face. No, I think it's actually at Chevelle Divine. Yeah. So there's also...
Well, it might have to change after that. I don't know.
There's also one from Sarah, and I'm already afraid. Hi, Sarah. If you're watching tonight, she says, I watch your show when I'm bored. Todd would be cool if he had his facts right. Biden didn't run against Trump. He was Obama's VP. Yeah, it gets even worse, though. She said, Joe, I've noticed your mic seems bigger than everyone else's on the show. Must be some kind of male overcompensation thing. Since I bet you're shorter than the other two guys on the show. Yeah, that's really true. That's all valid observations. I am shorter than the other two guys on the show. Yeah, and I've heard it said, by the way, that in entertainment you have to have a really thick skin. We'll just leave that alone and moving on. Anyway,
I like to use protection. That's why I keep mine covered.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm socially distancing from my microphone, so...
Chevelle and Joe like to go bareback.
Oh, my goodness. Wait. There's got to be something in here for that. I don't know if I should do the rim shot or throw in the laugh track. Yeah, anyway. And there's one more here. This one says, your music...
Everybody knows it feels better to talk into a mic without all that foam all over it.
The last one says, your music sounds like it came from a porno flick, and that's just from someone who goes by ABH. So, yeah. Viewer comments. Thanks. Keep them coming, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, but like viewer roast. What did we ask for? Did we ask for just any comment? Or,
I believe we did.
Yeah.
I believe we have said more than one occasion that even negative comments are some kind of comments. Yeah. Again, if you'd like to send your comments, you can address them to mixified@gmail.com and reference around midnight, or you can call any one of us out by name.
Yeah, I would like to amend that order. Let's make it into a nice compliment sandwich. You can put the
please don't do that. I hate compliment sandwiches. That's like taking a perfectly good, like, turkey avocado sandwich and then, like, shoving a piece of, like, truck gears or something in it.
I'm sorry,
has no place in a turkey sandwich.
I'm sorry, what?
Good one, Chevelle.
Truck gears?
Yeah, what?
I don't even know where you go with that.
You like the taste of truck gears?
I've never tried them personally. I've never tried them. I have no...
They don't belong in a turkey sandwich. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, well, okay, all right.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong on that one. You're not wrong. You are... Your video is really out of sync with your audio, but you're not wrong. Anyway, okay, so moving right along, straight down the tubes, as near as I can figure. Again, if you'd like to join the conversation tonight, you can call us up at 951-356-6882. I guess it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of this, since we're on food analogies with turkey sandwich and truck gears. I don't know how he came up with those two.
I honestly don't know where I was going with that one either. That was weird.
Yeah, that was
meat
that
and potatoes with a nice side of asparagus.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
but not inside the sandwich.
Oh man, you guys get them asparagus peas?
All right, guys, focus.
What is an asparagus?
COVID numbers were leveling off for just the briefest period of time. And I mean, the numbers dropped by maybe a couple hundred. And the first thing the media starts doing is talking about how, hey, we might be able to start sending kids back to school soon. And everything's going to start reopening, so on and so forth. And that didn't last for longer than about 2 days. And then the death numbers started to climb again. And the rate of infection started going back up in LA. And I don't understand why people are thinking that this is going to go away anytime soon.
I don't think it's so much that they're thinking it's going to go away. People just want it to go away. It's taken way too long. It's been a long time. People are just getting stir crazy. So
they're just making up numbers as they go along. Is that the plan here now? We'll just hey, anytime it sounds good, let's just talk about opening. Go ahead, Todd. You were going to say something.
It's been so long because we've been doing it so half-assed. That's the main problem. We've done a lockdown, and nobody wants to do another lockdown, but we didn't do it right the first time.
You mean nobody wants to do a real
oh my goodness,
lockdown?
Nobody wants to do it for real because it would really suck. But guess what? If we actually did it, we would be done by now. We would be way past done.
Yeah,
and I agree.
It's a
terrible idea.
I agree. I totally agree. I think if we had just done it right the first, if everybody just sucked it up, put on a mask, and stayed inside for a couple of months, we would have been over this already, like so many other nations are.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was reading an article talking about how Disney and Universal are talking about reopening. Talk about a cesspool. I'm sorry. There's no other way to put it, but any theme park would be a cesspool of COVID. Who would choose to put not only you, but your entire family at risk to go to Disneyland and see Mickey Mouse? I don't want to get sued and just say Mickey Mouse, but Universal and Knott's Berry Farm as well.
I don't understand.
Who wants to go anywhere like that?
How is it you want to go into debt to get COVID? That's pretty much what that seems like to me. It's like, hey, let me take out a big credit card loan so I can see how quick I can get sick. I'm just saying. I've
seen they were talking about how they've opened Knott's Berry Farm up for shopping and dining. Who's going to Knott's Berry Farm to get some dinner?
Well, I
they
guess
got pretty good restaurants, and they were making the jelly, so there was that. They had a pretty legit boysenberry, man. That was not to be.
I mean,
apparently they reverted back to what the park
was.
They reverted back to what the park was in the beginning. Interestingly enough, the whole Knott's Berry Farm thing, it actually did start out as a farm. They really did, and then they still do, as a matter of fact. Cultivate a lot of berries, and they make a lot of jam. And originally, they did that, and they had a restaurant. And the restaurant was actually run by Knott's wife. She just spent the whole day in the kitchen cooking all the time. And eventually...
that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, yeah, apparently she really wanted to do that. And evidently, she was really good at it because at some point, there was such a line for people to get into the restaurant. They were waiting for hours that they created the Knott's Berry Farm Park as a way to wait to get into the restaurant. And eventually, the park became more and more sophisticated, and it became the major attraction over the restaurant. And at some point, I guess the restaurant just went away, probably because she just said, that's it, I'm not making any more chicken pot pies. And so, But yeah, that's the story behind Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, it is pretty good food, actually. Now that I remember, man, you remember we used to go to Knott's Scary Farm all the time?
Yeah.
And we would always cap off the night and go to the restaurant and get some chicken and waffles or something. It was pretty legit, I gotta say.
By the way, there is no Knott's Scary Farm this year. That ship has sailed. COVID sank it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it would probably just be a bunch of people just jumping out and sneezing on you.
Oh, that would be scary. That'd be frightening, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. That would be terrifying.
Well, yeah.
That would get more people punched.
So
yeah, it would definitely do that.
We got onto the Knott's Berry Farm thing, Todd, because you were railing about Disneyland and, people not locking down. Of course, we've continued to hear the people complaining about how there are so many other goods and services that are not available anymore. We've heard discussions about people can't get their nails done. The fitness centers are closed. The churches are the ones that are really becoming militant, as it turns out, because they're sitting there saying, we've got God on our side and you can't tell us what to do. And so now there are several churches that are literally involved in litigation with the city and the state because they are operating in direct defiance of the social distancing orders, where you're not allowed to have people inside in close quarters.
Wow. I mean, you don't want to go up against Jesus. Last time I checked, so yeah, I would. I might let it slide.
I'm waiting for there to be some kind of massive outbreak in some kind of house of worship, and then what happens then? I'm just curious. We have seen that.
Well, I think there's two problems with that line of thought. Number one is that, and maybe I'm just a super conspiracy theorist, but there are bad actors who will deliberately go into places and infect people or something like that just to create that kind of fear. I think that's a possibility. But the other thing is, at some point, we just got to let people be adults. And if people want to go to church, people should be able to go to church. I think that churches are able to behave responsibly. I go to church. We don't have the kind of numbers that LA has, but in our church, and I guess you could say it might be a mega church by some people's standards. I don't think it's a mega church, but it's got a big sanctuary, but they actually space out all of the chairs. There are people who wear a mask. They have the hand sanitizers all over the place, and they actually do take temperatures in like the children's thing. So there are things you can do responsibly to actually do this. The problem comes when, and I am never going to be a fan of this, the problem comes when the government comes in and tells you absolutely cannot do something when they don't really have evidence to back it up. And I think that, and I know it's been the case for me, they have not been treating these numbers correctly. There's been wild speculation. I don't know if we're going to blame it on the media or the science or the politicians, but the numbers have been exactly what they're supposed to be as far as the death rate. The rate of infection is exactly what it's supposed to be for this particular disease. And I just don't know why people are acting so brand new. If they would just have come out and not done this huge fear-mongering campaign and actually just come out and done it in a rational, reasonable way and say, hey, it would be a good idea for you guys to do these things, allow businesses to, like if I go to a restaurant, they are closing up every other booth, which essentially puts people 6 feet apart. I think social distancing works. I'm not convinced that masks work. If somebody coughs on you, obviously the mask is there for protection, but I don't think people should be having to walk around outside with masks. It doesn't make sense. The science on the actual virus doesn't just justify that need. And the problem for me is the overreach. And then you also have the focus on the houses of worship, because you still have all kinds of other places that are still open that are doing stuff that's a lot more physical contact than what you might get in the church.
Chevelle, you might have made somebody mad. You actually have a telephone call coming in, so let's see who's on the... Hi, you are on the air around midnight. Who are we talking to this evening?
It's Lugene, guys. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, Lugene. How about yourself?
All right.
Well, let's see. Between lockdowns, weird open-ups, and everything else, I'm not sure what year this is or what planet we're on. But in what you're saying, Chevelle, I do agree with you as far as the church is concerned, without getting into a big religious fight about it. It does say that, you don't tempt God. But it doesn't say that you have to give up your worship simply because there's a disease going around, which apparently everybody's kind of getting used to, it seems like. The Republicans say the numbers are acceptable. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to talk about a little later on in the show, maybe, Lugene. It's funny that you bring that up. That one got me a little irritated. But I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're right. I'm like, acceptable losses. Okay, that's right up there with plausible deniability. But, and Todd, I definitely agree with you about the amusement parks and all of that, although I must say, I had a chance to go to downtown Disney a couple of weeks ago for a friend's birthday. And if the measures they're taking there at downtown could be, incorporated into Disneyland, they'd do all right. There are 3 separate checkpoints. Yeah. Everybody's got masks. You get your temperature taken, and then you have to pass by what I assume are COVID dogs. They had COVID on them.
What?
They were wearing little... I don't know if COVID can be sensed like...
they got COVID
diabetes
dogs?
or diabetic sniffing dogs and cancer sniffing dogs. I don't know. They might have just been there, to make sure there weren't any explosives. But they were parading these.
Yeah, but
big
what if a
dogs
person just smells like beef jerky? That's a little unfair.
Is it easy to trick a dog with beef jerky?
Again, like I'm saying, I don't know if it's all hype or if it's just, if it's something they're actually trying to start. I do know that you are not allowed once you are
end up
in downtown.
Dog bit and thrown out of the park.
Well, that's pretty down close. You are not allowed to walk and eat and drink at the same time. You are not.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with COVID. That's just the IQ level of the average citizen these days, I think, is why they're afraid somebody's going to choke.
Yeah. No, they sit you down in an area that's sequestered, and if you refuse to go, you are escorted out.
Yeah, well, see, that's again, they saw that people can't handle wearing a mask. If people cannot handle wearing a mask, they probably cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. So giving them, food and beverage and asking them to use their 2 legs at the same time is, really asking for a lawsuit.
I think that's one of the things we need to watch against is statements like that. Because when you start to make this mask wearing thing about either political or about a person, whether or not they're smart enough, like, what are you, stupid, put on a mask? That's combative. And we cannot approach people that way. And I think that was the problem with this in the very beginning. It immediately got politicized. You had the left and the right. Basically, I'm not convinced either one party is any more or less responsible for this. I think both parties are culpable because whatever one party would have said they were going to do, the other party would have immediately said, no, that's a terrible idea, and then everybody's just going to be blaming this crap on each other.
All right.
There's no reason why it should have been
totally
dragged out
disagree
this
with the
long.
whole politicizing.
And that's because they want to drag
mask.
this out past the election.
I totally disagree with the whole politicizing thing. I mean, yes, somebody has tried to politicize it, but there's nothing political.
Disagree with that?
There is nothing political about dead, not dead. They're 2 different things. There is no death party and the life party.
You're 100% correct, Joe, but you're not hearing my point. My point is, once you start to attack people personally and make it about their intellect, make it about how they feel or what they think, you've lost them. If we cannot begin to talk to each other, this COVID situation is just an extension of the political situation that has been going on in this country for the last 12 years.
Here's the
thing.
I
would actually put it all the way back to
the mask situation did not begin as, are you not intelligent? The mask situation began with, this is a highly infectious disease. You can protect yourself, and above all, you can protect others by wearing a mask.
But here's the thing.
No. Let me finish. This is how they started out explaining that, and people said,
information,
mask,
and then saying,
that's an
that
infringement
information
on my
was not
civil
accurate.
rights.
Oh, maybe we'll try it this way. Oh, no, that information is not accurate. You can't do that with people.
So you're saying we can't give them legitimate information because they're not smart enough. That's what you just said.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to give people legitimate information. You can stand by it. But they kept being reactionary instead of acting on the situation. And if it means that you take that pause for a week, 2 weeks, and you shut down, then that's what you do. But the second they turned it political, that's when it messed up. That's the bottom line. There is nothing anybody could have done on either side of the government that would have made this situation better, because it still would have ended up in a fight and we would still be where we are today. Because if they wanted to, if both parties, either one, had a true desire to end this, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to do.
You're right. It's called wearing a mask and staying inside.
One party comes out with something and says, okay, we're going to take these measures to do it. there's two problems. Number one, those measures will work in New York, but they're not going to work in South Dakota. So let South Dakota do what works for South Dakota. Let New York do what works for New York, and let people live their lives. Right. But if you're going to say you need to lock down the entire country, and there's a guy in South Dakota, and his only hope to get food is to drive that 30 miles to the nearest shop, don't tell that guy he's got to wear a mask when there's like 6 people in the entire store.
All right, here's the thing.
That's not reasonable.
You want the science to back things up, right? So let me give you the science to back things up. We all saw in the beginning of this pandemic what we Americans interpreted as horrific overreaching by the government in China. We saw a woman literally get taken down like some kind of football tackle for coming out of a store and refusing to wear a mask. They threw this woman to the ground. They basically put her in a straitjacket and they carried her off. And they did that all around that country. And everybody got the message real quick. You wear a mask and you stay inside till the government says we can come out again. Now, where is China?
I have a problem with that.
China doesn't have a virus. What were we just talking about last week, Todd, about how they were celebrating with a big water park reopening? Because they could handle it, if only because the government said, we're going to slap the stupid out of you if you won't do what we're telling you to do. In this country, the numbers have gone up and up and up and up and up. And
okay, well, let me pause
53% of Republicans said there was there's an acceptable level of casualties in this.
You know you can't pause, Joe.
I don't understand that.
Joe doesn't have a pause.
I'm sorry, wearing a mask is an IQ test.
Okay, let's argue that point.
Just let him run out of steam.
Let's say that the United States government did what China did. What you're saying is you want to give Donald Trump the authority to have people tackled on the streets for not doing what he thinks is the correct thing.
I said, what I'm saying is
whoever you give that authority to, it goes to whoever comes in behind that person. That's the reason Trump has the type of power people are complaining about now.
I'm not talking about giving anybody authority. I'm not talking about giving anybody authority. What I'm talking about is the intelligence of the individual to follow these simple instructions. You just used the example of
authorities tackling a woman to the ground and throwing her in a straitjacket. You're saying you want to give broad authority to the...
What I used was an example to show that if people follow the social distancing instructions, the virus dies off and goes away. That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. When are you going to get that power back? When are you, as an American, going to be able to say, okay, don't do that to us anymore? Because we don't have that ability.
What I'm talking about is your reference to it not being an IQ test, whether you social distance, wear a mask, and stay inside. And it is. That's what I'm saying. Because if we were smart and we followed those instructions,
and if it is a problem with people not knowing it, it's because you're doing a bad job of giving them the information. And that is the bottom line. The media has not been trustworthy for several years. During Obama's entire regime, everybody was complaining that Fox was biased. During Trump's regime, he's saying that everybody's biased. Prior to that, during, Bush's regime, they were saying that all the other ones, who are you going to listen to?
How much harder?
People have to stop letting other people dictate and start talking to each other like human beings. If I can come to you and appeal to you as a human being without shouting in your face, calling you names, degrading your intelligence, degrading your lifestyle, then maybe we can get somewhere. But if you're going to come at me like a butthole, you're going to get a butthole response. And it might be followed up with an elbow and a knee to the groin.
But apparently we can't.
Shut up, stupid.
We can't do that because I don't know how much simpler it could be than wear a mask, social distance, and stay inside, or people are going to die. And that's exactly what's happened. People have died, and instead we got people going around going, I can't wear a mask because you're infringing on my rights.
Joe.
Yes.
Sweetie, honey, I'm still here, and you guys just look adorable, just fighting like women. Chevelle, not to dump on your boy, but he started this thing by saying this whole thing was a Democratic hoax. Okay? If he'd have left the Democratic out of it, it might have been a little more palatable. But he made it a Democratic hoax. It is neither. It is not a Democratic or Republican pandemic. And it certainly isn't a hoax. Okay?
Here's where and this has always been my position, all the time. I have always said, I do not trust either party. I do not trust any politician. And I don't
Agreed.
think that people should be getting their information and basing how they talk to each other on what a party or a politician says.
Nobody's
I'm
basing
going
it
to go
on
back
politics.
to what I'm saying
basing
the
it
whole
on
time.
a death
You
toll.
you have got to talk to people like human beings. And that will solve a lot of the so-called political problems we have. If police officers stopped and talked to people when they stopped as human beings, you wouldn't have a lot of those issues. If the people being stopped would talk to the police officers like they were human beings, there would be a lot less issues. If politicians would stop treating, which is something you see from both of these conventions, they're just sitting here throwing out all this BS and people are gobbling it up. You guys got to start thinking about what it is you believe and stop asking them to tell you what to believe.
Todd, you aren't saying a word in this. I want to know what you're thinking.
Well, I'm trying to jump in
Where's the
and
nearest
say
exit?
what the YouTube chat's been going off. Nikki's jumping in. She says, yeah, the numbers are really
Hey.
going to surge in the fall and winter. And then she goes on to say about the science of the whole thing. It's not that they were being reactionary. It's that they were providing information based on the new or what they knew at the time. The American people aren't used to science in real time where things can change. They're used to getting it all done and gift wrapped. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's
That is the
things
truth
are
of it.
changing.
That is the
And
truth of it.
Chevelle, I just want to say I have a problem with the idea that you're like, I don't think the masks are that effective. They're effective to a certain point, but so you're not willing to
Exactly.
wear the mask, even if it's not quite as effective as they're saying. It's still going to have an effect. Is that not worth a little bit of discomfort to bring this thing down that much sooner? You're willing to just say no. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's my impression is he's saying, well,
I-
if they hadn't made it a political thing, if the Republicans hadn't, so basically, if anybody tells you you should be wearing a mask because it would be helpful, you're not going to do it because somebody's telling you what to do. Doesn't matter who, somebody told you to do this, so now you're not going to do it.
Why are you yelling at me?
I told you, he doesn't have a
Please,
pause button.
Stop yelling
Wow,
at me.
like old times.
Like Bo just
Like
transfers
old
all of
times.
his ire at all things Trump to me, and, which is odd. I mean, the black guy with the afros, the Trump apologist on this show, figure that one out.
Hey, trust me, we scratch our heads every
all
day
I'm
over that
saying-
one.
All I'm saying is America is the type of nation where you can have a president like Trump. That should say a lot to you.
It does.
It means
None
you've
of it is
got to
good.
do a lot about
None of it is
educating
good.
everybody. Because if America is a nation where a person like Trump does not ascend to that level of authority, we'd be in a much better place. So you're sitting here fussing about the guy who's sitting up there, and you're not spending enough time figuring out what it is I need to do on the block that I live in the state that I live in. And what you should not do is you really should not allow your representatives to get away with all of the BS they do. I don't want to hear Nancy Pelosi go up to the state capitol and just complain about Trump all damn day. I got problems that need to be addressed. She needs to be talking about my issues, not her issues. I don't want to hear Adam Schiff up there complaining about Trump all day. There's things that are going on Colorado Boulevard where businesses are getting shut down left and right. There's things happening on the east side of Pasadena, all over Los Angeles County that require some attention and some detail. I'm tired of people doing studies to look at whether or not they need to do a study about considering doing studies on issues and just work on the damn issue. This is not rocket science.
I think the
People need
the
to
whole
expect
problem-
more from their politicians
Yeah,
and
it's
hold
the
them
whole-
accountable.
The whole thing has become, a media sensation. Everything is become about getting more clicks, more views, more this, more that.
Well, don't be surprised when the world looks like Instagram, but sometimes the filter's going to have to come off, and the reality is going to be pretty sucky, bro.
Yeah, it's, not everybody needs to go for the headline, needs to go for the brass ring. Everybody's going for, the most clicks.
American politics is the equal to the duck face of Instagram. That's what American politics is.
Okay.
It's
All right.
ridiculous.
So, Lugene,
why are you doing that?
Did you
Wow.
did you get everything out you wanted to say, Lugene?
No, but this is.
Did you get everything out you wanted to say, Joe?
At this
Never.
point, it's almost people are going to do what they're going to do. Arguing about it isn't going to change it. Strong arming people isn't going to change it. I wear a mask because I want to think that I may be protecting somebody else. I'm not worried about the virus. My son's already had it. A bunch of people in my family have already had it. They're over it. They're getting better. But I agree with Chevelle in the sense that, strong-arming people into anything is not going to work. But I also think, this has become such a political issue and everybody's so burnt out on politics right now that the whole issue of the mask has been lost. Because, you can't make me wear a mask. I'm an American. I have no idea what that means. But, that's the arguments you get. This is a free country. I can do what I want to do. Yes, you're free to wear a mask. You're free to die. It's your choice. And we got so much. It's like trying to figure out this whole thing. You remember the old 8-ball, the magic 8-ball? You shook it and you turned it upside down and you got a generalized answer to a question. And that's, I think,
yeah, and then you cracked it open,
now.
and then
in the beginning they told us
Drank
the
the
mask
inside.
was going to work. Don't bother. Then all of a sudden, yeah, wear a mask. If they come up with a vaccine for this thing, the non-vacciners are going to be like, nope, you're not going to shoot anything into me, whether it cures, whether it kills, whether it helps. So this whole thing has been lost in a sea of basic BS because everybody's trying to take a stand, and basically they're sitting while they're doing it. So it's not really making any sense at all. You're going to have to do what you do for you. You're going to have to deal with the people that hate it. You're going to have to deal with the people that agree with you. The bottom line is, I agree with Nikki. I have a feeling this fall and winter is going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
But, so the weather's been, okay? There are towns and cities and states getting devastated by things that haven't happened before. There's California's in flames, Louisiana's underwater. There are earthquakes all over places, earthquakes in places that don't have them. So, there's so much more to be looked at, so much more to be. The bottom line is we are all in trouble, all of us.
Yep.
If the pandemic doesn't get you, the weather will. If the weather doesn't, the fire does. The fire doesn't, then the killing in the street will. And nobody is concentrating on what we as a nation have to deal with. Everybody's got their little political crap going on. Frankly, I don't care who wins the election. I'm not riding for Biden, and Trump is. We've already seen his stuff. 4 more years of that, yeah, we might survive it. We may not. But that doesn't mean that Biden has the magic bullet. Nobody does. And as soon as we realize that nobody has the answer, and we stop throwing stones and start looking for something, Republicans are dying. Democrats are dying. Children are dying. And if that doesn't mean anything to anybody, then it doesn't really make any difference what we do, or who says what, or who you believe, because we are dead men walking for a lot of reasons.
All right.
And that's how I see it.
Well, on that cheery note, thank you so much for your call this evening, Lugene. We really appreciate it. We hope you're enjoying the show, and we hope you'll keep watching.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't miss this. I mean, there's nothing on but the RNC, and, I'm not into that.
Hot air.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Just do, I mean, like I said, the one thing we're left is our ability to be free thinking, whether we're doing it or not. We are still allowed. I don't know if that's going to change or not, but we're still allowed to be individuals. And you know what? I got mask. I wear my mask at night so I can get used to wearing them in the daytime. I don't have a problem with it, and I don't have a problem with anybody who does.
All right.
It's just, smoke or don't smoke.
Well, thank you again for your call.
Nice seeing you guys.
You have a fantastic evening. All right, and to answer your question...
I get the feeling Joe's pushing for a break.
Well, we do have to take a break soon, but to answer your question, CJ, no, I didn't get everything out I wanted to say. I want to say one other thing. Because and I want to say this to you, CJ. I am in no way, absolutely none whatsoever, advocating for the idea that we should hand anybody in this country the kind of power that they utilize in China. my use of that example was to refute your argument that there's no proof the science works. That is 100% proof the science works. They forced people to wear masks. They forced people to social distance, and they don't have the
we'll
death
have to
toll.
agree to disagree.
So anyway, on that note, we got to take a break right now. This is Around Midnight Somewhere, and we will be back right after this.
Hey. Okay. Mm-hmm.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
America's veterans are more than a source of pride. When our veterans thrive, our communities thrive. With your support, our veterans can get career and education opportunities as well as benefits they've earned.
Hi, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu. Join me in thanking our nation's veterans. They've given so much. Find out how you can support veterans in our
Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are back right here on Around Midnight Somewhere for August 27, 2020. I am Joe Carbonetta, and we are live this evening. We'll give you that telephone number in just a second, but I want to take a minute to reintroduce my co-hosts this evening. I've got the always argumentative Chevelle Divine right here this evening. CJ, you still there? You didn't melt down? Oh, CJ saying
no.
he can't
I
hear
took a sandwich break.
Oh, all right. Fantastic. That's good. I'm actually envious of you. And I got Todd Fluker right here. Todd, how are you doing?
Yes, Chevelle's the always hungry CJ Divine. I don't know
That's
how many
accurate.
things I just saw him eating. He looked like he was eating a bowl of cereal. He was snacking on a sandwich. He's got a bag of candy. There's all kinds of stuff going on over there.
You know what was interesting is he
Times is
started
hard.
out, he did this in reverse because he started out with candy and then he went to the main course. It's like he started with dessert, then he went to the main course.
Okay, listen here, man. COVID is real. I might not be here in 20 minutes. I'm going to get my candy in, okay?
All right. Okay. Again, we're live. Oh, go ahead,
Cereal
Todd.
at 9 o'clock at night doesn't sound like such a bad idea.
Again, we're live for August 27, 2020. You can always reach out to us anytime at mixified@gmail.com. That's mixified@gmail.com. I want to take this opportunity, by the way, to mention that Malibu Film Festival's films, charities, events, and special programs continue to evolve in support of the arts in your community, and you can help by becoming a sponsor of the Malibu Film Festival. Check them out at MalibuFilmFestival.com. That is MalibuFilmFestival.com. All right, we are live, and you can join the conversation just like Eugene did ahead of the break. Call 951-356-6882, 951-356-6882, and we will put you on the air so we can argue with you too. All right, guys.
Or at least make sure you're on the YouTube chat and make sure to make a comment, watch some of the videos, make sure to subscribe.
Yeah. Like us, hate us, do whatever. You can send us more of that unflattering email, because you know what? Any press is good.
Yeah.
You know, at least we know somebody's watching. So, all right, the NBA.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, go ahead.
We got our friend Velcro on the YouTube chat.
Oh, he's
He
sticking,
was
he's sticking
piping
around?
up.
Get it?
I think about the.
Oh, come on. Come on. Seriously,
Yeah,
you're just going to blow that right over?
Okay.
What?
Velcro.
I didn't hear what you said.
Velcro is sticking around.
It's pretty good. It's fine.
You got to do the sound effect. You missed your own opportunity. Like, you knew you were going to say that, and you still missed your own opportunity for your sound effect.
You know what?
I mean,
I hit the rim shot. I guess if this is the one you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I went for the rim shot. All right, go ahead, Todd. You were saying Velcro's here in the house.
Yeah, about going to a theme park to eat. He says he goes to McDonald's to play at McDonald's Land.
Nobody does that.
Huh.
But then he also pipes up and says, people would be fine wearing masks if they kept sending out them $1,200 checks.
I'm not.
Yeah,
that's
they
true.
should send a mask with the check.
I was still sitting there thinking, what was more
Make America safe again.
What was more likely to cause you severe illness, COVID or eating McDonald's? There, how's that one, CJ? Is that better?
Yeah. They're both pretty high on that spectrum.
CJ didn't even say anything about that one. You didn't want to touch that, huh, CJ?
I got nothing good to say about McDonald's, so I'm gonna leave it be.
I thought you were just gonna say, "Nah, Joe, I'm gonna let."
I mean,
you
if they want to
sued
sponsor me,
McDonald's."
I might shove a nugget in my mouth or something. Just, I'm not saying I'm gonna chew it and or swallow it. This is not going where I expected
that
it to
did
go.
not go.
Why don't we just keep it moving?
Okay, moving on.
Let's aim for Subway.
So
Subway, right? They're better.
That's it. So you want a foot long instead? Never mind. Woo, boy. Yeah, it does not get better. It does not get better.
Chevelle will definitely chew and swallow that.
Oh, boy. And you thought you were mad at me, CJ.
You guys are so terrible.
I caught that reference about the knee and the groin or something like that. That was leveled squarely at me earlier. I know that. Good thing you're in Colorado because he does have. He's 6 foot
like
something,
Joe standing in
and
front
I'm
of
5
you,
foot something, so he's got
and
reach
sitting
on me for
behind
sure.
you.
Anyway, so moving right along, NBA and NHL playoffs, both have been postponed now because the players are protesting racial injustice. Anybody want to speak on that for a minute?
I didn't know they were putting off the playoffs.
Why is the NHL protesting?
No.
Okay, wait.
Should I have said that?
They're in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in the NBA.
Hey, you know what? It's always nice to see a Vladimir Slavisovic wanting to stand tall with Johnson. I'm all for that. Let's all come together as a people.
Did you just say something I should have bleeped out? I'm not sure about that. I can't tell.
In the entire NHL, there must be at least a handful of black players.
Whoops!
Right?
Look at that. We got the COVID slate up there. I don't know how we got that, but our bad. All right, we'll just. There you go, Todd. Sorry about that. Somehow we got the COVID slate in there instead. So anyway, you were saying, Todd.
Get that COVID information out.
That's true. We do. We got to get the COVID information out there somehow or other. I should have put that right over Chevelle when he was talking. That would have been great, but I didn't think about that one at the time. Anyway, moving right along. So yeah, they are protesting the racial injustice, and the playoffs have been postponed. There is some discussion that the NBA may be returning for the next game. I'm not exactly sure. I thought I'd heard some mumblings that the NHL.
So who's in the playoffs? Like, I don't even know. Have you been watching?
I honestly haven't been paying attention at all. But of course, it was headline news that sports has been sidelined yet again, and that's right up there with you can't make me wear a mask, and you can't make me stay inside, and you can't take away my sports or my drinks. Apparently, I don't know. It's That's America right there. It's funny. Everybody thinks that America is really about everybody carrying a gun. No, it's you can't make me wear a mask, you can't take away my sports, and you can't make me stay away from a bar.
I'm kind of surprised that people care about anything in this country anymore, because I was just thinking about this earlier today. Like, during each of the last 3 presidents, possibly the last 4, but definitely the last 3, there's always been some major crash or something where they've had to issue a bailout. And the one that annoys me the most is like 2008. Like, I can kind of understand why millennials are kind of jerks because they got screwed out of pretty much everything. All the wealth was taken by the banks. You had the mortgage crisis, the financial crash, and all that other stuff.
I've said it before that there's no question in my mind that that's why you see the homeless population explosion. People were working for most of their lives to get that, and then when stuff slid downhill, who came to their rescue? I mean, the car companies got bailouts. The banks were too big to fail. You know, the government bailed out the banks.
And even presently, like with this loan program they have, and I don't know if we're going to call it a bailout, but the stimulus checks, I like how they call it stimulus. But here, the thing that I was thinking about is like they're calling it a bailout, and where I'm from, when you bail somebody out, it's because they did something wrong, and it just seemed really appropriate that the banks got a bailout after they bankrupted the entire nation, and they haven't paid any of that money back either.
Oh yeah.
And now they're still sitting high on the hog.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I agree. And
so
you know,
that I could tell you right there is one of the things that drives my total distrust of politicians and politics, because ultimately they're going to screw you out of whatever it is you get. You can guarantee yourself that they're going to get that money they sent out as stimulus back one way or the other.
Well, it's like I was saying, you know, the whole situation, you had the economic meltdown 2008, the car companies got bailouts, the banks certainly got bailouts. But, you know, all those people who suddenly couldn't make their mortgage payments because they suddenly didn't have a job, and the banks didn't want to help them out one iota. You know, the only people who got rich on that...
Banks actually did their best to screw them out.
Oh, yeah. The only people who got rich on that were attorneys everywhere. And so the reality is that after somebody works for, 25 years, and then, 5 years left on a mortgage payment, and they get their house ripped out from under them, they just threw their hands up in the air and said, forget it. You know what? There's nothing I can do that they can't take away from me. I'm just going to live on the street. I'm going to let the government pay for me for a while because I want to get back what they took from me one way or the other. I really think that's what happened.
I saw the funny meme nowadays talking about the airlines and about how they're in bad shape nowadays. They're sending out tweets and messages saying, hey, we're in this together, but... 6 months ago when my bag weighed 52 pounds, I was pretty much on my own. Yeah. I had to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I also like the way the airline started out, as Chevelle was talking about earlier in restaurants. They've taken away every other booth to force social distancing. Well, the best they could come up with on a plane was to not put people in the middle seat, but that didn't last very long. They started filling those planes right back up again. I don't...
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. Because, the airline industry is saying that they're going under. Well, part of the reason you're going under is because you jacked up everybody's rates, arguing about how gasoline prices had gone so high. Well, gasoline prices have come way, way down. But I never saw fares go down. I didn't see baggage fees go away. I didn't see those little coin-operated locks on the bathrooms disappear. No. You keep raking us over the coals.
And you also didn't see them paying back any of that money they got handed out.
Oh, yeah. So they keep raking us over the coals, and nobody wants to fly anymore. Now, you know who's raking in the bucks? The RV industry. And, of course, the auto insurance industry, because of all these people that are getting a hold of these gigantic RVs but don't actually have the training to drive one, and they're rolling them over on the freeways. And it's an interesting time. It really is an interesting time.
Is there training to drive one of those things?
Well,
how do you train?
You know what it is? It's called physics. You have to understand that the more mass you have, the longer it takes to stop, the wider an arc you need to steer. All of those...
I don't trust any of this science.
Yeah, I know. Chevelle doesn't believe in any of the science.
I believe it.
So, yeah, it's
so wait,
kind of...
I got to get a PhD in physics before I can drive my RV?
No, but what you have to do is understand that the Tesla autopilot is not going to save you behind the wheel of your Winnebago. It didn't save the guy behind the wheel of the Tesla. That's why he went underneath that 18-wheel rig and lost his head. So, backup cameras, all that stuff, It's no replacement for swiveling your head. It just isn't. The mirrors are still on the car for a reason. Nothing replaces using them. Oh, woo, wow.
Wait,
you said
that's
I
not
was
what it's for?
incendiary. I don't know. Do you wear makeup?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Lucine's jumping in on the YouTube chat. She says, Chevelle, darling, you're still a man of conviction, and I applaud you for that.
Oh.
Joe, your verbal fistfights with Chevelle takes me back. Todd, you're still Switzerland. Good for you.
Well,
love you guys.
I got to get in my verbal licks because if it came to a real fist fight, I would get pummeled by Chevelle because again, he's 6 foot something and I'm 5 foot. I'd just be sitting here swinging and he'd be standing there with a straight arm. It would look kind of pathetic. I
thought you get a couple of good licks in just to make it look good for whoever it is holding the camera. I got to make it look like I'm not just beating you down
for the police report.
For the police report. Yeah. I gotta let
he hit me like 7 times.
Yeah, it's gotta
see
be
all these bruises on my
combat.
kneecaps.
Anyway, so moving right along, you know what? Considering that's actually an excellent segue, Lugene. Thank you very much. The verbal fist fights. We got to move into being nice. Chevelle, you wanted to discuss being nice, so I'm gonna let you intro this. I'm gonna throw this over to you. You go ahead and tell everybody about being nice.
I'm gonna throw it right back on you, right? You know that, right?
No. You can't do that. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll do it.
I'm
gonna do it.
I know you would. Go ahead.
I'm gonna do it. All right. So a couple of days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, Joe. And he was telling me about every time he goes somewhere, when he speaks to people, he greets them, he asks them how they're doing, and he's fairly sincere about it. And people are shocked and awed that someone would take the time to say a nice word. And that's something that's just so completely missing, especially today, from not even just among friends, but like saying hi to strangers is gone. Like there's no neighborhoods anymore. Well, there's maybe a few left, but people don't talk to each other. People don't greet each other. People don't have any meaningful conversations or relationships outside of their small circles. So I know that's something I try to work on because as a general rule, I'm a fairly standoffish person. I don't necessarily come off as cuddly. I'm not the type of person people want to just walk up to and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm not that guy.
Well, you
but I try to be
deodorant once in a while. It would
especially for people that are serving you. Like for my, I didn't hear what you said. Your audio was cutting out.
I said you should try using deodorant once in a while, and maybe people would want to.
I do
you.
once in a while.
Oh,
like once in a while.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah. Just like what happened to common courtesy, especially for people in the service industry. And I think a lot of it is because two things. One, a lot of people think the service industry is beneath them. So they think that whoever it is serving them doesn't deserve to be dealt with in a kind fashion. And that's not just, the restaurants and all this stuff. That extends all across the board, all the way through like teachers, librarians, clerical workers at any other business where you go in and you're already upset. So why would you go in there and try to make somebody else upset? I don't know. People got to learn how to talk to each other. I think they should have etiquette in class in schools again.
Yeah, that would be good. I couldn't agree with you more.
Nikki to jump in?
Oh, yeah. Is Nikki there? Go ahead. Oh, you want Nikki to call in? Is that what you're getting at? You know what? I have not been throwing in the phone number, so let me put in the phone number there. Just in case Nikki forgot, 951-356-6882. Come on, Nikki, call us up because Todd really wants to talk to you.
She's in the service industry. Yeah, she's got to tell us how people treat her. Are they generally courteous? I feel like librarians is, it's not like being somebody who works at McDonald's. Not that they don't deserve respect just for working at McDonald's, but, it's...
For being a human,
Yeah, it's not
just,
being a human.
Like you think you're having a bad day because you didn't get your nuggets on time? Think about the guy who had to make 7,000 nuggets that day.
Uh-oh.
He's not having a good day.
We got a telephone call here. Let's see. Maybe it's Nikki. Good evening.
Sure
you are
about
on
that?
the air with Around Midnight.
Mostly.
Somewhere. Who are we talking to?
This is Nikki.
Nikki, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
So far, so good, because Chevelle's in Colorado and he can't touch me.
Hey, Joe.
It's been interesting to watch
1,000
tonight,
miles
yeah.
between us in order to keep me from laying these paws on you.
Yeah. All right. So Nikki, I realized that you were calling in largely at Todd's beckoning, but would you tell us what you were thinking?
Well, no, I do work in a library. I deal with people in that capacity all the time. I don't work the desk where I have to take money from people anymore, but I do answer the phone when people want to get random information that sometimes is not available, or they want a book that's not available, or a movie that's not available, or they want a copy of the movie that's still in the theater right now. And, that's not...
Oh, my God.
And
Yeah, I used to work at
And
the
so-
warehouse. I know exactly what that's like.
What's the warehouse?
Can I buy
Yeah.
that movie?
You work where?
You mean the one that's playing at the theater right down the block? No, you can't buy that
I've
one
had
on
that
DVD.
conversation.
Sorry.
Yeah, and most people are pretty cool with it. But I've noticed that like I try to be really nice to all of my patrons, and I'm friendly. I try to remember who they are, and that actually backfires. It's hard to be nice to some people because they think you're flirting with them just by showing common courtesy.
I think that
Yeah.
might be more of a
Well, I think that
female
also goes back to the
issue.
fact that people don't understand kindness anymore.
That might be more
Like,
of a
why
female
are you
issue
interpreting
than a male
as
issue.
a flirt?
Because, you know...
I think that is more of a female issue. I have not seen my male colleagues have that problem.
Yeah, no, well, that's
But
because women generally are not impressed by men at all. So if we actually try to be nice to women, they're more like repulsed by that too. It's like, oh, are you flirting with? Yeah, that's the only way that works. If a man is nice to a woman, the woman thinks that the man is flirting with her. If a woman tries to be nice to a man, well, the reality is if a man is nice to a woman, he probably is flirting with her. But women, on the other hand, if they try to be nice, guys just want to take that ball and run with it. So, yeah, I see your problem there.
That's the thing, though, is like most women can tell the difference in a guy who's being polite and generally being courteous. And I've seen that happen. That happens a lot. But you get those weird moments where he's like, oh, she said hi to me and asked how I was doing, so she's going to give me her number now. And that's just weird. And that makes it hard to be nice sometimes. Like, I am careful about how friendly I am because of how it's interpreted. Even though I'm not being inappropriate, I'm just trying to be nice. And I think that's a problem a lot of
Did
people
Nikki just
have,
say she was
even
going to give me her
some guys,
number after the show?
because they don't know where the
That's
lines
exactly
are.
what she said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Nikki, did you catch that? Did you hear Chevelle?
I did not hear Chevelle. I heard like random noises, but no words.
Oh, Chevelle was saying, did he understand correctly that you're
That
going to
sounds about right.
your number after the show?
No.
Ooh,
But
she's being real nice.
it is a problem. And I've worked other service things other than like a library. I worked at a kiosk in a mall, and 90% of the people were super cool. And when you're nice to them, it's fine. But it's harder to be nice to people because I guess, yeah, they don't know how to be nice. So they assume that you're just being more than friendly.
All right,
And it's
wait.
weird, and it
Nikki,
makes things
Nikki,
hard.
I'm going to totally put you on the spot right now because you're only the second, well, you're really only the second caller we've had tonight anyway, but the second female caller that we've had tonight. So I'm going to put you on the spot because I would like you to train all the guys out there. Can you demonstrate or explain for all of our male viewers the difference between being nice and being genuinely interested?
No. I have no idea. Like,
well, wait. Let me just hold the phone because if you can't explain the difference, how are we supposed to know?
Okay, so it's one of the, okay, you know your intentions, and you can generally, like, most people can read other people to an extent.
Apparently not, because you can't. You don't even know what you're doing. Like,
I can usually tell when someone is trying to just be friendly, and when someone's being weird about it, or trying to. There's something in a body language. It's like that Supreme Court ruling on porn. You know it when you see it.
But apparently, as guys, we
I was
don't.
literally about to say that myself.
We don't. Apparently, you're saying we don't get that. Wow, I'm having flashbacks to doing this show 20 years ago. You're saying we don't get that. So that's why I'm asking for some kind of set of guidelines, a playbook, rules, something. Help us out.
Just be.
Yeah, you're on your own, bro.
Friendly. You don't have to like automatically jump to hitting on somebody, and just be friendly. And if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, I don't know. I don't flirt much, so I have no idea.
Oh wait, this is good stuff. Let me write this down.
Man. Yeah,
you don't have to immediately jump on flirting with someone. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so wait.
Just be nice.
Did I hear you say you're
Like,
immediately supposed to
seriously,
jump
just-
on someone that's flirting with you?
I mean, once you can tell they're flirting, go for it. I guess I don't know, but I
don't know. I feel a hashtag coming on.
It's super hard for me to explain because it's one of those things that I can tell the difference when somebody's one way or the other, but I don't know what that difference is. And it's different from person to person. Like, there are patrons at work that I don't have a problem with, but other people find them inappropriate.
Interesting. Well,
yes, Chevelle, you gotta do like a role play situation.
Nikki,
I feel like
I thank you for trying to answer that.
Please don't role play with people at the library.
Nikki.
I thank you for trying to answer that, but unfortunately, you haven't shed any light on that. And we actually have another call coming in, but we've got you on the line right now, Nikki. So to the caller that's calling in, you got to call back in a minute or two when Nikki finally has had enough of us, because we can't take your call until Nikki goes away.
I think that means the caller should call back 10 minutes ago.
10. Wow. Really? That's not how you get her number, CJ. Even I can tell you that.
I think I'm just going to eat my sandwich.
Okay. Well, Nikki, I put you on the spot enough because I know you didn't really even intend to call in, but since we had you here, I thought I'd try and get some light on this subject for all maledom, and I can see that's a whole show all by itself. But thank you. Thank you so much for your call tonight, Nikki. I hope you're enjoying the arguments and the rest of the show too. Right. And please keep watching and call us back. And thank you for being one of our longtime producers, because you always straighten us out when we've got it wrong, and we get it wrong a lot.
Yeah.
Say hi to Tony for us too, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye. All right, to that caller that was just calling us. Now's a good time to call back if you're watching. We are live for a few more minutes anyway, and you can get in on this conversation. I'm sorry we couldn't take that call earlier. 626. I do this every show too. 951-356-6882. Every show. I really do. Yeah. Well, the old number was a 626 number, but we've been 951 for years now, and I still can't get it right. So
yeah, you should know better by now.
Just autopilot.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Just Anyway, so we solved nothing right now. Sorry, men, if you're watching, we still have no answers for you. And I don't. What? Another call coming in?
I don't know, Joe. It kind of sounded like you were trying to flirt with Nikki.
Oh. You are live on the air on Around Midnight Somewhere. Who are we talking to?
Tracy,
how are you doing this evening?
Let's hear it.
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
All right, Tracy. Can you give us some knowledge on the difference between just being nice and being interested?
So, the difference would be if they ask follow-up questions. So if you deal with your transaction and then it's done, and they ask a follow-up question, they're probably interested. But if you just do your transaction, whether it's a book or buying that burger you were talking about, and they say nothing, then it was just them being polite. But if they ask a follow-up question like, oh, what about this? Or maybe you should check out that, then I would say that they're interested.
Hey, what time do you get off?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure could have used that information.
Want to get
Absolutely.
off?
Sure could have used that information like 20 years ago, but anyway. Wow. Okay. So
wow.
There's one tip, guys, for the single men in the audience tonight. There is one tip. So wait, you're saying they could ask a follow-up question, but I now I've got to go more in depth on this. Any follow-up question, or are there some flag follow-up questions that should really get your wheels spinning?
I think awkward, creepy questions should get you running in the other direction.
Well, no, going back to your burger scenario, let's say I come up to you and I say, "Hi, Tracy, I'd like a cheeseburger," and you say, "Would you like fries with that?" That's a follow-up question. I mean,
correct. That's part of that's part of the script that I'm required to say. You're looking for things that they're not required to say that they would be following up. So I could be like, after we're done, I was like, Joe, that's a really nice shirt. Okay, well, that's not necessary. Ooh. It's not something prescribed that I have to say.
That's also not a question.
It is. That's true, but it is a follow-up. Or I could say, if you really like this burger, here's a coupon to get another one free. See you soon. That's definitely a follow-up.
Or that could be that you're required to do that promotion.
How did Joe ever get married? He is terrible at this.
I still wonder about
that.
But
nitpicking.
I do too. I really do wonder, Joe, how you ever got married.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
No, there might be something to that. Might be something to it.
Okay. All right. So that's a little bit. Now I know that's not why you called in. At least I'm thinking that's not why you called in, Tracy. So what else would you like to tell us about now that we've put you on the spot with that one?
So I'm calling in to agree with Chevelle again.
Oh no! Oh, Tracy, I was just starting to like you.
Dude,
I was
it's bound
just
to
starting
happen.
to like you.
There are
Tracy.
other intelligent people out there.
So I do have to say I had to wait till the Republic National Convention was over to call in. So I apologize. That's where you guys rank.
Huh? Okay. Well.
The fireworks were really cool. They spelled out Trump 2020. It was very cute. You really think I'm joking?
No,
so
no, we know
actually
he
going
has
to
a
comment on is
We-
what Chevelle was saying about kindness. Like, people need to talk to each other like they're equals. And I think if we did that more, if we thought about the fact that we are the same and we treated each other with some kindness and some compassion, that would go a long way to fix a lot of the issues that we're having in this country. I know for me right now in my job, that's the one thing that I'm practicing. And it's also something that I'm asking of my students, to be very patient with their teachers right now with this whole distance learning thing, because 95% of the questions that I'm fielding right now are not content-based questions. They're like, how do I do this? Or how come this isn't working? Or this website, platform, app, extension, blah, 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 is crashing. I do not have a degree in that. My technical knowledge is very limited. So if it starts to get too advanced, like, I'm going to have to send you to someone else who actually can do this. So please be very patient with me. Like, I may try to make an assignment that doesn't work. You know, I don't have any control of Zoom outages or Google crashing or things like that.
It's kind of like us. We don't seem to have any control over the internet either. If you notice, Chevelle's picture just keeps changing size all show long. It's been doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that
I'm having trouble hearing Tracy. Can you fix the audio? Because it's not coming in right. So appreciate that.
I actually did want to say that my microphone's bigger than both of yours, or all three of yours actually, and I got it delivered 2 weeks ago.
Wow. Okay. All
and
right.
I love it. Pop filter. Anyways.
Wow.
Oh, who was that? That was
Yeah.
Sarah, huh? So now we know who Sarah was. Is that interesting? Because Sarah really raked me over the coals there. Wow. Okay. Thanks again, Sarah.
I'll send you a picture of I'll post it for you guys so you can be envious of my microphone.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, please do that. And
I'm sure if I go along with whoever started the show in saying that you must be compensating for something, I'm even shorter than you are, Joe. So maybe that's why I have such a big microphone.
Yeah, but I'm really concerned about that because there was a definite reference to a male overcompensation thing. I'm not sure what that says if you're female and you want. Never mind. I just thought about that a little bit more, and I'm not even going to talk.
I think it says more about you and than it does her.
You can't assume my gender, Joe. Like, you can't do this. We live in a modern era. I didn't even identify myself with pronouns, and you're already assuming.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. The name Tracy.
Me too, Joe.
I'm old school.
Me too.
I'm old school. So, what can I say? Get the name Tracy. I'm going to assume female until, told otherwise.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah, I am.
There's
Tracy
a lot
Morgan?
of very famous male Tracys.
There's a gazillion
Yes.
of them. I don't think I even met a female Tracy until I met the female Tracy.
Huh. Anyway, moving on.
That made sense in my brain.
Yeah, you're zoning out. We got 15 minutes left in the show, and you're going off on tangents, CJ. Come on, stay with us. We got a few more minutes. Anyway, Tracy, thank you so much for your call this evening. We really do appreciate it, even if you do side with Chevelle. I mean, we can't all be perfect. No, but we do also very much appreciate your shedding some light on the male conundrum of what is nice versus genuine interest, because apparently there are a lot of men in the world that need that help right now.
But I also think exactly what Chevelle said. I think if we just treated each other with just a little bit more kindness, it would go a long way. And it's very scary that common courtesy isn't common. And in fact, if you are nice, people think that there is something wrong or you have some sort of agenda. I think that is a terrible position for the world to be in.
On that note, you and I can be totally in agreement, Tracy, completely in agreement. So I do appreciate that very much. And we appreciate you watching the show. Your reference to the emails that we read at the top of the show give us clear identification that you've actually been watching for the last hour and a half. So thank you so much for that. I think you're the only person that's been watching all that time.
Since you thought I just got on at the very end, but I was listening to you guys.
Well,
there was other important things on the TV today.
So, well, all right. So, last but not least,
I don't know if I call it important.
Man or woman, doesn't matter. We love you all the same, Tracy. We really appreciate you calling tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And maybe you can write us an email, too. That'd be great. Remember, mixified@gmail.com.
Ooh.
No?
You really want me to do that?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now I don't. I did, but now I'm a little concerned. Anyway, thanks so much for your call.
Compliment sandwich.
You have a great night,
Have a great night, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Night.
All right. So
we got plenty of Tracy's popping up in the YouTube chat.
Do we?
Tracy Morgan, Spencer Tracy, Dick Tracy. Come on.
Yeah, but
Chevelle.
that's a last name.
Amen.
That's a last name.
Or
Dick
Joe.
Tracy. That's a last name. All right.
So,
anyway,
just pulling Dick Tracy in 2020 is a good pull.
so, yeah, wait. I don't know which one to use. I'm gonna use them all.
Lejean's jumping in. She says, OMG, it's simple, you guys. If you come at a girl with a sorry-ass line, we know what it is every time. If you make eye contact without checking everything else out, we may give you a shot.
Huh.
How do you have wives?
I like how Todd ad-libs that.
I'm sure there was a snap and a twist in there.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Okay, so moving on in the last, we're coming up on 12 minutes left in the show. We had a couple of topics. I want to talk about COVID hair for a minute, because I thought this was an intriguing topic. There's been a lot of discussion. We've seen a lot of stuff in the media concerning the fact that hair salons open for 5 minutes and then they're closed again. Barbershops can't stay open. They moved everybody outside for a while, and then the temperature spiked into the triple digits and nobody wants to get a haircut, or nobody can get a haircut. And so apparently there are a lot of people walking around that have not seen a pair of scissors in quite some time. And there are numerous examples of this on Facebook and other such social media platforms. A quick look at our good friend Todd right here is also an excellent example. Although Todd, a lot of people don't know this today, Todd has a twin brother who used to join us on the show 20 years ago. And if you see a photograph of the twin brother, it's one is Sasquatch and the other is Todd.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been hairy, but dang, he went next level.
Yeah, he literally hasn't cut his hair since this whole thing started, and even before that, it was a little furry on top. And yeah, since this whole thing started, I mean, I've been cutting my own hair for years, so I had clippers, and I just been doing it myself.
I thought you had one of those old Flobies.
Kind of
Didn't you have a Flobie for a while? The Flobie is that pair of clippers that you could connect your vacuum to, and it would suck up all the hair as you went. Didn't you have one of those?
I wish. That's some white people stuff. I wish I could use a Flobie. I would. I would have been cutting my hair for 30 years instead of the last 5 years.
All right.
Yeah, that's definitely some white people stuff. Flobie's not doing anything for this, bro.
So wait,
what
you're saying?
It's not happening.
Put that vacuum on. It's just like...
Yeah, no.
Nothing happened.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, how do we... Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even go to Supercuts, man. They wouldn't know what to do with me. They'd be like, you want me to tease it? I'm like, no, bro, give me a fade. Like,
yeah, they're like,
what?
What number clipper?
Can you just point to a picture? I'm like, all you got is Justin Bieber on this wall. I'm not trying to be any of those right here.
Where's the Ebony magazine?
Oh, my God.
Gotta issue a jet?
Wow. Okay. All right. So,
and this is I don't know how many months is this. This is probably like 2 months, because I've actually cut it a couple of times, and I'm debating whether I'm gonna just go through the whole winter, get my full winter mane going. Everyone, like, I grew my hair out.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I cut my hair.
Mane?
Last time I cut my hair was a year and a half ago. And well, after I grew it out, because I grew it out for like 2 years, and then I cut it. No, I grew it out for 1 year, and then I cut it like almost a year to the day, because I was locking it up. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. But this, I can't get this. Like, I see Todd's epic beard action. That would take me like 17 years to do that. I can't get that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't think this used to come in as nice. I don't know what happened. You know,
You're-
getting old and hair's coming from every pore now.
Yeah,
Ain't that the
these
truth?
Sasquatch genes kicked in overdrive on that right there.
And Nikki's jumping on the YouTube chat. She says her mom has been cutting her son's hair just because she doesn't trust Nikki to do it.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that, except that if you would like to send us a picture of your COVID hair and give us permission to put it on the show, that would be awesome. And you can send it to us at mixified@gmail.com. Mixified@gmail.com. Send us your COVID hair picture. Got to be a JPEG, please. And then we'll see if we can incorporate it into the show on a future episode.
I did actually. Speaking of which, you know, I'm used to cutting my hair, but I did give my wife a little cut. Like she was saying, she kept trying to get me to do it. She was like, "Oh, it's you know, pandemic times. If it gets all messed up, who cares? Nobody's gonna see it anyway." And I'm like, "All right," because she was showing me this YouTube video where they were like doing the side shave thing.
Oh, I don't get
she
that.
was like,
I don't get
go
that.
ahead and do that.
It came out pretty good. I saw the picture.
Yeah,
It was all right.
All right, so I did it, and yeah, it turned out real nice. As it turns out, you can learn pretty much anything off YouTube.
Yeah, you just throw on that number 3 and you're good to go, bro.
Yeah.
No, that looked like a 2.
Yeah, I think it was.
So Todd, when are you going to be sporting that haircut?
I mean, I pretty much do have I got the side shave.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right. Well, so that's the COVID hair situation. Now onto a really serious subject. Apparently, there is a news report coming out that is suggesting that men should cut their drinking to 1 drink per day maximum. So that's like 1 bottle of beer, 1 glass of wine, one shot of hard liquor, whatever the case may be. You know, they used to say men could have 2 or 3, and more recent medical studies have suggested that because men and women do not metabolize alcohol at the same rates, that a woman, they've suggested for a while that at the maximum a woman should be drinking on a daily basis is 1 drink. But now they're saying men should only have 1 drink a day. Thoughts on this, gentlemen? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's really becoming. That's what the article was all about that we were reading. It's all about how alcohol is getting up there higher and higher in, you know, relating to deaths of Americans, and I assume all over the world, actually. So and I know there were some people reacting to this news saying it's not an actual, you know, like FDA or dietary guideline yet, but they're saying they want it to be. And, you know, there's lots of, I'm sure, alcohol lobbies or whoever it is saying, no, we don't need to do that. You know, cutting down on everyday drinking is not what we need to do. We need to focus more on curbing binge drinking. You know, college kids drinking till they're blackout drunk or drinking and driving and all that stuff.
Well, and then also I think the drinks are just a lot stronger today than they used to be. Like you can get beer that's dang near 12-15% alcohol in them these days.
Yeah.
That was not something you used to do back in the day. When your Bud Light is stronger than like Hefeweizen from 15 years ago, that's a bit of an issue.
Velcro says you should just have 7 drinks in 1 day a week instead of 1 drink every day for 7 days.
So he's advocating the whole just binge, just do it all at once and get it out of the system. Is that the idea there?
I think if you drink those 7 drinks, then yeah, the next 7 days just fly by because you blacked out.
That could be. That could be.
And then you're right back to it, right?
No,
I don't know that that's good.
The rest of the week,
then
you gotta
also,
spend
I'm wondering
drinking
how
water.
much of this is due to the fact that people are also a lot active now, not as active. So,
yeah,
they're sitting there drinking versus like you might drink and then you might go run or play a game or something like that or do something else. Hopefully, not drive. But everybody's just drinking and sitting and stewing, and then they might drink some more because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I think that has been a big issue.
People...
Is that a lot of people are starting to drink now just because what else is there to do? And then they're suffering from depression because they're trapped inside. And it seems a lot of people, when they're depressed, they want to relieve the symptoms. And the best way to relieve the symptoms is to forget about it. And the natural tendency is to just start drinking to try and forget. So yeah, I suppose there's probably there is probably some we're going to use that word again, science in there somewhere, CJ, that might actually back up the idea that you should not be.
I take back everything I just said.
Well, Eugene says she's doing one drink, but it's a big gulp cup.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, it's still considered one drink if you just go straight from the bottle, right? It's one bottle.
One bottle. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. They did not specify the size of the container. They just said one drink.
Yeah, actually, I went. It's probably about 5 years ago. I went to a doctor, and he's telling me about the Mediterranean diet I'm supposed to be on, and he said eat fish and drink wine or beer, and I'm like, cool.
Oh, interesting.
You got to
do that.
All right, so
Of course, I've put on like 50 pounds since then. So
last thing is
do a little less Mediterranean, a little more diet or something.
Yeah, I didn't mean fish sticks.
There is a run on change now. Literally, there is no more like coins floating in circulation. Apparently, the mint hasn't been producing them for a while because COVID, and so now they're asking for exact change or ATM debit/credit cards where you go to purchase most goods because they can't make change for you anymore.
Well, they've been talking about getting rid of coins for a long time in the U.S. It's always been, something at the back of the discussion. People are talking about getting rid of the penny, and then other people just talking about getting rid of coins altogether. And I have a friend who doesn't like to carry anything other than, I think it's dimes or quarters, because all the other coins are too big and take up too much space, and you don't get your money's worth.
Huh.
Yeah, a dime would probably get you the most bang for your buck.
I'm surprised that somebody gave that much thought.
That was you, Joe.
Well, I mean, you used to have to carry change for parking meters and stuff like that, but you don't have to anymore. They're all, they
all have card slots
connected to the web, and taking card slots.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You don't need to worry about those kinds of things anymore. So maybe change will disappear in the not too distant future. That's an interesting
one step closer to the cashless society.
Well,
yeah.
On that note, we're not only out of money, we're out of time. I don't know where it all goes. Well, actually, I do. When we get to arguing with Chevelle, it can go by real fast. But it's always fun to argue with you, CJ.
You just gotta start being right at some point.
Oh, I am. I'm always right. I am always right.
Look at him. He's already getting all heated.
All right.
I am right.
A reminder again that Malibu Film Festival's films, charity events, and special programs continue to evolve in support of the arts in your community, and you can help by becoming a sponsor of the Malibu Film Festival. Check them out at MalibuFilmFestival.com, MalibuFilmFestival.com. For everybody here at around midnight. Wow, it's getting late now. Chevelle Devine, Todd Pfluger, myself, Joe Carbonetta, thank you so much for watching. Nikki, one of our longtime viewer producers, thank you so much for always keeping us on the right track. We've got to give a shout out to Eugene and, of course, to Tracy, too, even though she sides with Chevelle. We love you anyway, Tracy. A reminder that, of course, Round Midnight is produced through Mixified Media Solutions. And this last thought for you guys, that life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It is about learning how to dance in the rain. All right? On that note, we're getting on out of here. Have a great night.